Patreon member shout out. America! How many people are proud to be citizens of this beautiful country of ours? The stripes and the stars are the rights of men have died for to protect. The women and men who have broke their neck for the freedom of speech the United States government has sworn to uphold. Or so it's told. I never would have dreamed it. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Veve Omi update video. You guys are for new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. That was some Eminem with White America. That's just old school kickback, taking back to the 90s, I think. Anyway, full disclosure before I start this video, I have a Stephen Pugh ultra rare Harley Quinn. Got it for about $5,500, and currently it is standing at about $10,300. Subject of this video is the Stephen Pugh ultra rare Harley Quinn the next one to moon? I have gotten this question actually a couple of times, and I figured I'd make a video on it because there's a lot that goes into it. So Harley Quinn wasn't actually, you know, a comic book character. It was made in the 90s specifically for Batman the Animated Series, the show. The writers got a feel for her by watching an episode of General Hospital. It was like a fever dream. They were, or I think it was General Hospital. It was a soap opera where there was a Harlequin jester, and she was acting all crazy, and they're like, oh, okay, this would be a good idea for a character. But she was so popular that everyone loved her. They brought her back, and now she's a fan favorite with a bunch of stuff in comic books and movie series, and you know, she has this thing with Poison Ivy. I'm really waiting for a Poison Ivy. I think actually this would grow a lot if they would have a Poison Ivy and they would animate her. But there's a couple of reasons why I think she won't moon, at least right away. One thing happens to be where as soon as collectibles get to like that $10,000 mark, they either, you know, really go up, you know, like they keep going, like the Eddie Rizzo Batman or the Secret Rare Spider-Man, or, you know, even comics, when you have that Marvel Comic #1 Secret Rare. Or they go back down, like we had Ben Reilly reach like $8,800, really nearing that 5-figure mark, and then going right back down to $5,900. So it's something that it hasn't really, it's kind of stayed there. It's the only collectible silver that's kind of stayed around that 5-figure mark and hasn't really, you know, shot up or gone back down. It's been between like 9,000 and 1,100 for a while. And is it time? What am I going to do? Well, what I'm going to do, if it does moon, I'm not saying it will or won't, but I think it might at some point. If it does moon before we have any more movement in the Rizos, I will sell mine in conjunction with any other thing, and then I'd be able to go and get a third Rizzo. I'll sell the Harley Quinn. I'll sell that, and not because I don't love Harley Quinn. I do very, very much. It's just I see Eddie Rizzo being a bit better long term. Harley Quinn is loved by millions. Probably some people are jealous of her. Probably that many people are jealous of her. But this is something that's a very popular character. But one thing it does have working against it is that it's not a first appearance. It's a first edition, and that's great. But it has a couple things working against it right now. One of which being that there are a lot of her. You know, if let's say you just want Harley Quinn, well, the actual first appearance is much, much cheaper. It's like 5% of the worth. It's like $500 something as opposed to $10,000. So it's like 5 or 6% of the value. So you can just get that. But if you wanted something with some color, you know, then by all means get this. And if you have a bunch of money, it's just, if you're somebody that has 5 figures to spend and you're just doing it for money and investments, why not just spend the extra couple $1,000s and go and get a Eddie Rizzo Batman, you know, for investment? I think that would move a lot harder. Another thing why this could actually be good or bad for it is that, but I think there's kind of a point against it. Harley Quinn has 500 mints, and the Captain America Secret Rare has 1,000 mints. And let's say those two are equally popular, which they might be, who knows. But let's say they're equally popular. I think Captain America probably has a little bit more popularity. But just for the sake, let's say that they're equal. Well, with half the mints as Captain America, it should be about twice as expensive. But it's not. It's like 3 times as expensive. And Captain America's animated, that Secret Rare. And I know what you're saying. Well, if you don't want the secret rare, want to spend thousands, you can spend hundreds and get the ultra rare. It's still animated. And even if you don't have that, you can get the rare, the common, the uncommon. The uncommon's even cheaper than the common. So there's a lot that you could do. And Harley Quinn's not animated. But Harley Quinn does have that first edition. Captain America does not. That goes to the Marvel Mighties. That's kind of its Achilles heel. But Captain America's already mooned. It went from like 1,900 to 3,300. This is months ago. I got a Captain America at 32, 3,300. Went down to like 1,600, 1,900, and now it's finally back up to where it was. So I'm finally net even I'm no longer in the red on Captain America. Can it keep going? I mean, it should be worth about half as Harley Quinn. That's if it was, if they were equal popularity, which I think Captain America is probably a little more. Excuse me. But will it go to, $50, $100? I don't know. I'd like it to, because I have one, but again, the Marvels I don't really sell. I would think that the Harley Quinns have already mooned as much as it could, and it is a struggle right now for me to sell. I do not want to sell her. I really enjoy her. If I do sell her now, I will buy her back. And if you're in my same position, not that everyone would be, but if you are, there's probably a bunch of people in this position, like, hey, Harley Quinn or Eddie Russo Batman, where you have to spend, again, 40% more. So you really have to increase your bags a lot to be able to buy him. Well, what would I do? I mean, I would take a look at how many people have the Harley Quinns, and I don't really see too many other influencers, at least on YouTube, really, really pump her. But I see everybody pumping the Russo, and if we're talking about pumping, we've had Lewis Morgan said the other day, Russo or Todd? And of course I say Russo. Again, I had the choice of getting 2 more Todds or getting 1 more Russo, and I got the other Russo. And now I have a choice of getting 2.5, 3 more Todds, or get 1 more Russo. And the plan is to try to get another Russo. Because Dr. Profit has 100 of them. And this isn't just speculation. Dr. Profit says in a tweet, quote, "If you think this through, those super rich that will own a Todd want to own a complete set. But there's only 1,750 minus his 100 available. The competition will be fierce. Russo floor always over Todd." But again, that's just a Russo versus Todd thing. How does that affect Harley Quinn? Does Harley Quinn, that's not a first appearance, deserve to be in the same area? Does it deserve to be the same, close to the same worth as this? And I get it. It's 40. Increase Harley Quinn's worth by 40%, and then you get there. I get it. It's a lot, but they're still both in the 5-figure range, between $10,000 and $14,000 right now. I think eventually Harley Quinn can reach 20K, 30K at some point, but I think Russo reaches 50K. And that's, I think the 50K is not even a hard call. I think it is much easier, in my opinion, for Russo to reach the 50K than it is for Harley Quinn to reach 30K. And let's do some math on this. Out of the 500 Harley Quinn that were minted, let's say 50, 50 mints would be 10% of them, and 25 mints is 5%. So that's exactly 5% of her available on the market, which is, there's not a ton of those in general, just 25. And if you go and you take a look, 10 have to be bought to increase it from 10,000 to almost 20,000, which is a fair amount. But let's look at the Eddie Russo. The Eddie Russo, you're looking at a little bit, slightly less than 5%. If 1,750 were minted, then about 175 would be 10%, and about 87 would be 5%. And we have 57, so it's like between 3 and 4% that we have on here. And we take a look at them, and we say, okay, well, 10 of these are bought, and it goes from 14K to 18K. So it doesn't take as much money to be able to, it'll take roughly the same amount of money, but it won't move it that much. It will only move it from 14K to 18.2, where Harley Quinn's you can move it to almost 20, which is good for Harley Quinn. And if we separate from high to low, if you take any mint that is 50,000 or more for Eddie Russo, or let's just do above 50,000. Well, you take off 22 mints that are 59,000 and above. The rest are 50,000 and below, which I think is what it could reach. But if we go to Harley Quinn's and we go from high to low, out of the 25 that there are, take a look-see here. You go from high to low and you take off 10 of them, then it goes down to 29.9. It goes from 29.9 to 37.7. So it is, in my opinion, it is easier to move Harley Quinn's to get there, but that's if you had the same amount of people willing to spend the same amount of money on her. But I don't think that's the case. It is easier to do that, but it's not as simple. The simple thing is to look at the want, and that first set of Veve ever, in my opinion, is going to take the cake. Now, now that I've gone through all this, at the end of this video, I probably should not sell the Harley Quinn, even though I think Russo will outperform her. They're both winners in my opinion. So currently, I guess after all this, I will not do anything. But it's just some math for you, just to see where my mind's at. Comment down below if you thought this was a complete waste of time, or you thought, you know what, this is good info, Chavez. Also, everyone check out Star Helix, Wendy Stibalis, Kyle Willson, Golden Assets on YouTube, and at Not Star Helix, at HeyDavidDon, and at EQ_crypto on the Twitter. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow.